ओम श्री अरविंद मेरा। Anyone with some intelligence and power of observation who lives more in an inward consciousness can see the play of invisible forces at every step which act on men and bring about events without their knowing about the instrumentation. The difference created by yoga or by an inner consciousness, for there are people like Socrates who develop or have some inner consciousness without yoga. Is that one becomes conscious of these invisible forces and can also consciously profit by them or use and direct them. That is all. If we observe a happening, we judge and explain it from the result and from a glimpse of its most external constituents, circumstances, or causes. But each happening is the outcome of a complex nexus of forces which we do not and cannot observe, because all forces are to us invisible, but they are not invisible to the spiritual vision of the infinite. Some of them are actualities working to produce or occasion a new actuality. Some are possibles that are near to the pre-existent actuals and in a way included in their aggregate. But there can intervene always new possibilities that suddenly become dynamic potentials and aid themselves to the nexus. And behind all imperatives or an imperative which these possibilities are laboring to actualize. Moreover, out of the same nexus of forces, different results are possible. What will come out of them is determined by a sanction which was no doubt waiting and ready all the time but seems to come in rapidly to intervene and alter everything. A decisive divine imperative, all this our reason cannot grasp because it is the instrument of an ignorance with a very limited vision and a small stock of accumulated and not always very certain or reliable knowledge. And because too it has no means of direct awareness, for this is the difference between intuition and intellect. That intuition is born of a direct awareness, while intellect is an indirect action of a knowledge which constructs itself with difficulty but of the unknown from signs and indications and gathered data. There are only two categories of influences recognizable: the idea and feelings and actions of oneself and others, and the play of environment and physical forces. But once one begins to get the inner view of things, it is different. One begins to experience that all is an action of forces of Prakriti, psychological as well as physical, which play upon our nature. And these are conscious forces of are supported by a consciousness or consciousnesses behind. One is in the midst of a big universal working, and it is impossible any longer to explain everything as the result of one's own soul. and different independent personality. You yourself have at one time written that your cries of despair, etc., came upon you as if thrown on you and worked themselves, but without your being able to determine or put an end to them. That means an action of universal forces and not merely an independent action of your own personality. Though it is something in your nature of which they make use, but you are not conscious, and others also, of this intervention and pressure at its source for the reason I state.